Wolverine is a hero with an adamantium skeleton and an iron will. Let's look at some of the mightiest versions of this character to ever grace the pages of Marvel Comics. The Phoenix Force is one of the comic book elements that made it onto the big screen, but if you didn't catch X-Men Dark Phoenix, well, maybe that's for the best. Instead, let's talk about another version of the Phoenix Force that fans tend to prefer. Because on one alternate timeline, it was Wolverine who ended up acting as the host for this particular cosmic entity. We all know Wolverine can tear down enemies no problem, but merging with the Phoenix Force brought his power to a whole new level. As in traveling around the universe wiping out celestial bodies. The Phoenix Force is a small adamantium claw away from being omnipotent and possesses a seemingly endless reserve of cosmic energy. It has no need to hack and slash, it can simply suck the very life force out of whatever it wants to. This is not only the most powerful version of Wolverine, but it's an exceptionally old one. Old Man Phoenix might be a little bit older than we're used to seeing this hero, but he's also way stronger. Wolverine's healing ability and fighting skills are great and all, but the Phoenix Force is the ultimate cosmic power-up. As far as Marvel characters go, the Hulk is undeniably one of the heaviest hitters. So you can probably imagine just how dangerous a combination of the Hulk and Wolverine would be. Clayton Cortez was hired to help annihilate a village for sabotaging a pipeline, but had a change of heart at the last minute. So he was turned over to the Weapon X program's Batch H division. He was turned into Weapon H, with traits from both Wolverine and the Incredible Hulk, as if either of these characters weren't powerful enough on their own. In addition to the bonus DNA he received during the experimentation process, Clayton also had his skeleton fused with adamantium, so he can Hulk out with a set of Wolverine's iconic claws. He can also heal quickly like Wolverine, and thanks to his past as a member of the Marine Corps and a mercenary, he's no stranger to combat. Of course, there were some drawbacks to the procedure, including memory loss and uncontrollable fits of rage, but in terms of power, the trade-off was pretty substantial. Imagine a Wolverine with nothing left to lose, and you've got Old Man Logan. And yes, he's every bit as dangerous as you're probably imagining. In this storyline, the vast majority of heroes disappeared and villains took over. The Incredible Hulk and his family rule a portion of the United States where Logan lives with his wife and kids. When Logan can't make the rent, let's just say the Hulk gang is less than understanding. After their negotiations, Logan agrees to take a job with a blind Hawkeye in order to raise money for his rent. If a blind Hawkeye's your best bet, you might be in a lot of trouble, and that was definitely the case for his Wolverine. Because as you probably predicted, his family doesn't survive. It turns out Logan stopped fighting after he was tricked into taking out his fellow X-Men by Mysterio, and after losing his wife and kids too, the claws came out both literally and figuratively. He completely annihilates the Hulk gang, showing off an incredible amount of strength and fighting ability which clearly didn't suffer despite years of misuse. Even getting swallowed by old Pappy Banner barely slows him down since he heals up in his stomach and claws his way out. This version of Wolverine came out of retirement with a vengeance and nothing holding him back, which is why he's one of the most powerful versions of the characters in my opinion. There are tons of awesome alternate timelines in the world of Marvel Comics, and one of my favorites is the Amalgam Universe, which features combinations of Marvel and DC heroes. So with that in mind, allow me to introduce you to Logan Wayne, who was sent to live with his uncle after losing both of his parents. When his uncle eventually perished, he was raised by nuns until he was old enough to enlist in the Royal Canadian Air Force and ended up in the Canadian Super Soldier Weapon X program. He, let's say, graduated the program with some new powers, and a nemesis called the Hyena. Logan took on the name Darkclaw and returned to New Gotham City to avenge his parents and fight some crime. Obviously, this character is an amalgamation of Batman and Wolverine, and has key abilities of both heroes. He's got Wolverine's mutant abilities and Batman's weapon and stealth mastery. He's also a genius in pretty much every subject, and this helps him formulate effective battle strategies. The combination of these two brooding heroes resulted in a character who is more powerful than either one of them alone. What do you get when you combine a demon with a human's seething hatred of Wolverine? The answer is Helverine, who's essentially a demon in the body of Wolverine. Where is the true Wolverine, you might ask? You can probably guess the answer to that too, but I'll just say that his soul ended up somewhere nice and toasty warm. You see, Helverine was created due to a deal between a demon and a man named Roger, who blamed Wolverine for the loss of his family. So he made a deal with a demon, which always ends well, and conspired to take over Wolverine's body. Once the demon was in place, he decided to start wiping out all of Wolverine's loved ones. While the demon made itself nice and cozy, it enjoyed the benefits of its host body. It added a homey touch by bringing along some demonic abilities, including being able to breathe fire, use telekinesis, control the minds of others, and create acid. Thankfully, the real Wolverine's friends were able to free him from the demon and banish Helverine back to whence he came. But the fact remains that a fire-breathing Wolverine is definitely an awesome upgrade. Even though we haven't gotten to see regular Wolverine in the MCU yet, I'm holding out hope that we get to see the vampire version as well. Hey, they're rebooting Blade, so anything's possible as far as I'm concerned. We all know how tough Wolverine is, but now imagine him with some sweet vampire powers as well. A What If comic revealed what would happen if Wolverine not just became a vampire, but became Lord of the Vampires. In this reality, Dracula manages to turn Storm into a vampire who in turn infects her fellow X-Men. But because of Wolverine's specific mutations, he gets all of those sweet vampy benefits without the downside of being mind-controlled by big old Dracula. In fact, he actually brings down Dracula, which is no easy feat, and then promptly sets to work taking over New York while most heroes are helpless to stop him. Not only is becoming a vampire a definite power upgrade, but this Wolverine had the benefit of controlling a whole team of superpowered vampires. Even though this was a what-if story, there's no denying this is one of the more powerful versions of Wolverine. Akihiro is really the son of Wolverine, but he's used his dear old pappy superhero name before, so he makes my list. His mother was taken out by the Winter Soldier while she was pregnant with him, but he survived and ended up on the doorstep of a wealthy couple. Even in the context of a comic book, leaving a mutant infant on a doorstep seems pretty irresponsible, but let's just go with it. He was the frequent target of bullies who called him Daken, an unkind term regarding his heritage. His home life was dramatic, so I'll keep it short and sweet by saying that his adoptive parents took inspiration from Hansel and Gretel's parents and tried to abandon him in the woods. And neither survived the attempt. No witch living in a house of candy required. Sad backstory aside, Daken has other traits in common with his biological daddy, including his mutant healing abilities. He's incredibly strong, agile, and ages remarkably slowly, but he also has some amazing powers that are his own, including the ability to mask his own scent to the extent that even his dad can't track him. He can use his pheromone manipulation to control the emotions of others and can tell what other people are feeling. Emotional intelligence might not be a flashy superpower, but it's something that's in short supply in the superhero community. Okay, I know what you're thinking. How strong could a zombie version of Wolverine really be? After all, even though zombies are seeking out brains, their own brains are rotting out of their skulls. Not that my own zombie survival plan doesn't consist of high-pitched screaming, but still. In theory, a zombie Wolverine should be nowhere near as powerful as the original, but there's an important component to this comic book character, and it has to do with one of his many meals. When Wolverine and his fellow zombie heroes devoured the Silver Surfer, they became imbued with the power cosmic, a source of infinite energy usually wielded by Galactus, who they also ate. The whole constantly decaying thing is definitely a mark against him, but the cosmic powers more than make up for it. Plus, being able to destroy an enemy with a simple nibble instead of slashing through them is a game changer, especially since zombie Wolverine's claws don't really work that well, what with the whole constantly rotting thing and all. Clones are one of those wacky comic book staples that haven't made it into the MCU quite yet. But that's how we ended up with Laura Kinney, who is the result of a top-secret program designed to replicate the Weapon X experiment and gave us the original Wolverine. Something went wrong with the Y chromosome and we ended up with Weapon XX, or essentially a female version of Wolverine. Like her predecessor, Laura has an incredible regenerative healing ability, which includes being able to regrow or attach her own limbs. She also has the benefits of heightened sense and can see, hear, and smell way better than the average human. Her skeleton isn't covered with adamantium, but she can use her retractable bone claws to do some serious damage. As you can probably guess, Laura, or X-23 as she was known back in the day, didn't have the happiest childhood. It's tough growing up as a clone, especially when you were created to be a living weapon, but her training did make her a powerful warrior. So much so that she bested the original Wolverine in combat when she confronted him at Xavier's mansion. Not only does Laura have the same abilities, but she's been trained extensively to be a brilliant tactician and master of martial arts. Scientifically speaking, she's more of a genetic twin than a clone, but whatever you want to call her, she's undeniably one of the most powerful versions of Wolverine. When it comes to comic book characters, Wolverine isn't exactly known for his warm and fuzzy disposition, but most versions of the character, including the original, clearly fall into the category of hero. He grapples with moral quandaries and the desire to keep people safe, which is something that his ultimate counterpart doesn't waste much time thinking about. Although he's held himself back on occasion, like when he graciously allowed the Hulk to transform back into Bruce Banner instead of letting him fall to his doom. What a guy! But let's not forget that he also worked as an assassin for Magneto's Brotherhood of Mutant Supremacy. Although his disposition improved after joining up with Professor X, he did wipe out poor Jamie Madrox when his powers got out of control, and did his best to claim the life of Magneto instead of just stopping him. Okay, so it turns out that was just a duplicate of James Madrox, but Wolverine didn't know that at the time. As far as powers go, the Ultimate Wolverine has the same basic power setup as the original, but many of his abilities aren't as well developed. He may be more willing to take on dirty jobs than his Earth Prime counterpart, but in many ways, he falls short. Old Man Logan may be one of the most gruesome versions of this hero, but that's exactly why he's my favorite. Did your favorite version of Wolverine make this list, or is it one that I didn't include? Share your pick with your fellow fans in the comment section down below, and don't forget to click subscribe for more videos from us here at CBR. Thanks a whole bunch for watching.